I'm getting ready to wash and style my hair, and I thought I would take you in with me so I can show you exactly step by step how I do it. No cuts, no fast forwarding, all of it step by step. It's gonna be a long one, so bear with me, but I'm gonna show you what I use first. So the first thing that I'm gonna be using is the Scalp Comfort Treatment. This is my first wash for most of my showers. It helps rebalance the scalp. It's good for your microbiome. It relieves the scalp's itchiness, dryness, it just rebalances. So it's really good for your hair and scalp. The second one I'm going to be using is a shampoo conditioner line from, for All of Money, but the thickening line. So it helps reduce hair loss. It helps thicken the hair, thicker, fuller, stronger looking hair. I do have the thick hair and long hair, but I want it thicker and longer too. So we're going to be using this today. And then for styling, I'm going to be using this brush. So the routine that I'm going to do is with this brush. If I wasn't using the brush, I would do it a little bit differently. So if you don't have it, I can send you a video. So you can let me know in the comments and I will send you a video of how I wash my hair without this brush. And then I can't live without the brush. If you can invest in it, it's cheap on Amazon. It works incredible. And the reason why I do things differently is because I don't have to worry about all the little things that I'm doing in the shower that may cause frizz or tangles, right? The brush is going to take care of that at the end. The next step, or the first step for my styling routine is a curl cream, gel, and then I finish off with mousse. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, step by step. So let's do it. All right, I'm going to try and not make too much of a mess and keep the door open a little bit. Okay, so the first step, and I'm hoping you guys will be able to hear me properly. The first step is always to make sure your hair is soaking wet. So you don't, that's cool. You don't want your hair to be just a little bit wet. You want your scalp soaked. And if you have low porosity hair like I do, it's going to take a really long time for your hair to be wet. So I typically will sit here and like kind of separate my hair into sections, making sure it is drenched before I put the shampoo in. I should have grabbed a towel for my face, but whatever. We're learning. Typically I do this over the tub, and no matter how many times I've said in my videos you don't have to do it this way, I still get comments about, I can't bend like that, I can't bend forward, this would hurt my back. So I'm taking you in the shower with me, so that people can see that you can do this in the shower normally. You don't have to bend over the tub. This will be fun. Okay, so once my scalp is soaked, I'm going to shake my shampoo, super important because you want to mix in the ingredients. If there's oils in your shampoo, they will separate, right? So you want to make sure that you shake it really well. And I use about this much. When you use products that are concentrated, you don't need to use a lot. Our products are diluted with water a lot, just a little bit. So like most products are about, I think it's like 80% water, 20% product or something like that, where our products are a lot more product, more concentrated, less water. So I'm going to emulsify as well, making sure it lathers in my hands before I just plop it on my hair. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of water and it starts to lather right in my hands. So now I like to apply it everywhere before I massage. So I do it like this, like that, and then I go ahead and massage it really well. It's not going to lather a lot on the first wash. It's going to look like there's barely anything, and that's normal because what's happening is it's breaking down the dirt, oil, and buildup first. So you'll see on the second wash what's going to happen. And I just realized I always use this first, and I just use the shampoo first. So we're going to do this on the second wash. But typically I will do this first. Alright, so you let it sit for about 2 minutes to let it do its job. You can keep massaging if you want. A good scalp massage will stimulate blood flow to your scalp. And what that's going to do is feed your follicles. Our follicles feed off the blood, the nutrients in the blood. So it's good for stimulating more blood flow to be able to get some nutrients to your follicle for thickness, fullness, and growth. So then I just kind of rinse it out. I'll show you from the back. Hopefully you can see. I just kind of separate it because my hair is thick. And oftentimes I will put my fingers through and just kind of squish. All right, you want to make sure it's properly rinsed really well. As you saw, I don't focus on my ends, just the scalp. Once that's done, I will do a second shampoo, but I'm going to use this. Okay, so this has a nozzle. This is the scalp treatment. This has a nozzle, so you simply do a couple strands throughout the scalp. It relieves the itch immediately. It has like a cool sensation. It feels so good. Because I have hard water, I have well water, which is essentially hard water that has like mineral buildup, causes mineral buildup. My scalp can get itchy and dry. So this stuff gives me instant relief. And it's really cool to the scalp, so it feels really good. So as you can see, it lathers a lot more because the second wash deeply cleanses your scalp, where the first wash just breaks everything down, which is why I typically do the treatment first. So now I'm going to massage it again, let that sit a little bit, and then we're going to rinse it out. If you don't have the treatment, that's okay. You can do 2 shampoos. You should be doing 2 shampoos. But because I have the treatment, I'm going to do 1 of each. Alright, so for this one, I take it down to the length of my hair as well. Not too much, just a little bit. Because the length of my hair also has mineral buildup from the hard water, right? So I just take it down. I let that sit as long as I can. This is typically when I would either shave, wash my body, do something to be able to just let that sit for a while. I tend to not focus on the ends too much, and then I just let it run down the length as it's rinsing. So 1 treatment, 1 shampoo, or 2 shampoos if you don't have the treatment. And once that's done, I just rinse it out. And this time you want to make sure that it's rinsed really, really, really well, so there's nothing left in your scalp. It's not great to have any shampoo left in your scalp. You're going to have some itchiness or oiliness. You just want to make sure that it's properly rinsed everywhere. So like again, I'll show you. I will separate it, especially in this area. I do the same here. Make sure everywhere is properly rinsed. The top especially as well. This takes a few minutes. If I didn't have the brush, I wouldn't be playing with my hair a lot. Because if you're playing with wet hair, yes, you're going to cause frizz, you're going to cause tangles. So I tend not to play with it too much. But I have the brush, so I'm not worried. Alright, let's get rid of some of this water, or some of these hair. Okay, so once that is all rinsed out, now it's time to do the conditioner. So we're going to shut this off. We're going to remove as much excess water as possible. You don't need much water in there. You want your hair to absorb the conditioner, and if it's full of water, it's not going to absorb as much. This is where I flip my hair forward for a preference. I prefer to do it like that. If you don't, then you don't have to. We're going to grab the conditioner. If you have short, thin hair, that's all you need. I don't know if you can see. Hopefully you can see. Okay? I have thick, long hair, so I'm going to use a little bit more. That's it. Woo! Okay. Let's take this out. I'm going to rub my hands together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glaze it on the length of the hair first. So I'm just going to kind of glaze it everywhere first, so it's not all plopped in one area. Okay? Glaze it everywhere. If you have a shampoo and conditioner, or a conditioner that is too heavy for you, it's going to make your hair feel greasy. If you have the right conditioner for your hair type, it should not. So this conditioner can be applied to the roots. So, and I know my hair can take it, so I do apply it, but you don't have to. Typically, I will do ears down. So here, down if you're facing forward. I'm gonna let that sit for quite some time. The bottle says about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm not gonna do that for the sake of the video because it's gonna be way too long. But what I like to do is I like to, and recommend, is you're gonna grab a brush and you're gonna start from your ends and you're gonna work your way up. Now, the key to having this be easy for you is to brush your hair dry before you hop in the shower. If you don't brush your hair before you hop in the shower, this will give you a hard time. The other trick that I find makes it easier is if you brush as best as you can, and the areas where you can't, do it under the water once you're rinsing, as you're rinsing. So as you can see, it's pretty easy for me. I already detangled my hair before I hopped in the shower, so it's not too hard. Shedding is normal. You are going to shed as you're brushing, whether you brush wet or dry. Because what happens is you're playing with your hair. You're going to shed when you apply shampoo, you're going to shed when you apply conditioner. Anytime you play with your hair, it's normal to shed, and it doesn't mean because there's a lot that you're going to go bald. It doesn't mean that your hair is thinning if you're shedding a lot. If you notice that your hair is thinner and thinner over time, then yes, that's when you should be alarmed, but it's definitely not because you're brushing. It's not, you're not shedding or losing thickness because you are brushing your hair. You're losing thickness because there's something wrong internally. So for example, stress will cause hair fall. There's a difference between hair fall and hair shedding. Stress will cause hair fall. Rapid weight loss will cause hair fall. Medication, hormones. Did I say rapid weight loss? I think I did. Lack of water intake, lack of sleep. If you have an unhealthy diet, all these things can cause hair fall. But your hair is not thinning because you're brushing it. It's not thinning because of your shampoo and conditioner. It's thinning due to issues internally. Now, if you have products that cause buildup and you have a lot of accumulation on your hair, it is possible that your hair is growing really weak because of the buildup. It has to grow through buildup. So yes, clogged follicles can reflect on the way that your hair is growing. But typically, if your hair is thinning and it's getting thinner and thinner, it is something internally that's going on. All right, so once that is done, I'm going to rinse it out, and then we're going to move on to styling. So you're going to see, well actually, because I have this brush, while I condition, I'm not too worried about what I do when I rinse the conditioner. But if I didn't have this brush, and I wasn't styling my hair with this brush afterwards, when I rinse my conditioner out, I wouldn't be touching it, okay? But because I know I'm gonna be styling with this brush, I don't care if I play with my hair while I'm rinsing the conditioner. But if you don't use a styling brush, do not play with your hair as you're rinsing your conditioner. All right, let's do it. So I would just literally be standing here like this if I didn't have the brush. I don't want to play with my hair causing frizz, causing tangles. It's already detangled, so it's good. So I would just be sitting here like this, rinsing it all out, not touching it. But because I have a brush, and I'm not worried about causing frizz and friction, I'm just going to help it rinse a little bit quicker, like this. But it doesn't matter because I have a brush afterwards that I'm going to be using. Now the one thing that I will say is if you style upside down, let me just separate my hair properly. So if you style upside down like this, the one thing that I will say, see it's already causing like frizz and tangles here, just by playing with it. Okay, so the one thing that I will say is if you are styling your hair upside down, make sure that your hair back here is on each side and not all forward. Like you don't want your hair to be all like this, forward. You want it to be on the side. What's going to happen is if your hair is all forward, you're going to have such a weird kink, and it's tricky to bring it back. There are some tricks, but why not avoid it in the first place? So I like to bring the back of my head to the side. And the only thing that's forward is my top layer here. Okay? Now, once it's all rinsed and we're good to go, okay, now my conditioner is all rinsed out. I actually have my products in the shower with me. I prefer to style in the shower because as you can see, my hair is wet. It's dripping, I don't know if you can see, but it is dripping, it's soaking wet, and I don't want to get out and drip everywhere. Nor do I want to remove any of this water. I want this water in my hair, okay? So what I'm going to do is I bring my products in the shower and I style right in here. So a little bit of cold cream, not a lot. Don't need much. Products are concentrated. Rub my hands together, okay? Again, if I didn't have the brush, I don't want to disrupt the hair. I don't want to cause more frizz, nor do I want to tangle it. So I would glaze it on, like this. Okay, glaze it everywhere. If you have the brush, it doesn't matter. You can just rake it in. Doesn't matter, because you're going to be styling with the brush. But if you don't, you glaze it. Okay? So I'm glazing the curl cream on. Ears down. You can do your roots if you know that it's not going to cause greasiness. If you have the right products for your hair, it should not cause greasiness. If you have heavy product, it might. Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to use the gel, and I'm going to do the same thing. A little bit of gel. I like to use a lot of gel because I like to have a crunchy cast because that's what gives me some hold. So I'm going to do this about 2-3 times with the gel. A little bit at a time, never a big glob at once. There's no point, it's all going to go in one section and you're not going to distribute it as evenly as you would like. So I glaze it everywhere, a little bit at a time, a little bit up here, back here, and right here at my roots, okay? If you rake it in, it's gonna separate your hair and look stringy. So again, don't rake it in. If you don't have a styling brush, glaze it instead. All right, hopefully that's not too confusing. So same thing, I'm gonna glaze it everywhere. Use 2 hands for praying method. Okay, glaze it. I'm going to do it one more time. The amount of gel you use is going to depend on your hair. It's going to depend on the product you're using as well. So my biggest recommendation when it comes to quantity, start with a little bit the first time you try it. The next time, use a little bit more. The next time, use a little bit more. You're going to be able to figure out how much your hair needs and what it can handle. and based on the results that you're gonna get. Okay? So I know that 3 little blobs is what my hair likes. So 3 little blobs like this is what I like. It's a flexible hold gel, so it's not a super strong gel. Okay? One more time. Now my hair's not dripping anymore, and that's not a good thing, because I want my hair to be soaking wet as I'm styling. So if your hair is like mine and it typically dries quickly, and not necessarily that it's drying quickly, it's that I'm glazing product, which is removing water. Okay, and we don't want that. We want our hair to be soaking wet until the very end when we're done. So what I'm gonna do is, because it's no longer dripping, I'm going to re-soak it just quick. Okay. Good. Maybe a little bit more. Perfect. All right, that's what we want. We want our hair to be soaked. Next step, actually, I'm just gonna rinse this out really quick. Perfect. All right, now we're gonna use the brush and we're gonna create sections. So if I rake my hair, now it's on different uneven sections. There's some frizz here, I don't know if you can see. I don't want this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the back, a little chunk. I'm gonna go from underneath to create volume, and then I'm gonna gently create some sections with this brush. Okay, same thing, gently create some sections. And I always grab the last section and put it with the next because it's usually a little bit strainy. And I don't want it strainy. So we're going to grab a section here, underneath. Okay, like that. Underneath. I'm actually going to do this again. Perfect. Just like that. I grab the last one and put it with this one. One more time. Underneath. We're good, no stringiness. Grab a couple, put too much here. And then this. That's it. This section's a little bit stringy, so we're going to do it again. Perfect. Now we got some nice clumps. Okay, my hair's still dripping, so we're good to go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the last product, which is mousse. Mousse is the lightest product, so you go from heaviest to lightest. A little bit. Okay. Glaze it on everywhere. If you want volume, put some at your roots. And then glaze it. Gently. Don't press too hard. You're just trying to apply it to the length of the hair. A little bit more. And it's the same with the mousse. If you don't know how much you need, use a little bit the first time and then just add over the next couple times you style your hair. Okay? And now we're just going to scrunch. I'm going to scrunch until we like the definition we see. Gently. All I do is I pulse at the end. That's what I do. I grab it all the way up to the root and I pulse. Grab it and pulse. You could separate your hair into sections when you're styling. I choose not to, but I used to when I first started. So that's going to be a video for another day. But this is like the quick, simple way to style. If your hair feels like it's like it's dry quickly, apply a little bit of water. If it's getting stringy and it's separating a lot and it's not clumped like this, okay, it's not clumped, it's just stringy, add a little bit of water. It'll clump back together. It's normal for your clumps to separate the more you scrunch, but you do want to scrunch until you like the definition. So I rather add a little bit more water and continue scrunching than to stop scrunching because they're separating. Now the next step is I grab this finger and I just kind of help it move all over on the side. And I scrunch to create some movement so my hair is not all stuck forward. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. If your hair starts to get frizzy, grab a t-shirt and do the same thing with your t-shirt. Just scrunch your hair with your t-shirt and it's going to encourage definition without causing frizz. And it's also going to soak up any of the excess water that's on your hair. And if there's any product that's kind of just sitting on top, then you're going to be able to scrunch that out. And that's it. That's all I do. I'm going to scrunch with a t-shirt for a few minutes. I'm going to wrap it in a t-shirt for about 15 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to diffuse it dry. You can air dry if you want. If it doesn't look like this, re-wet a little bit and keep scrunching. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.